It was finally time to venture to Isle of Skye. In any Scotland trip, it is a must. We only allotted one day, and I was hoping for two, but even then, that wouldn't allow you to explore everything. We did start off dipping into Urquhart Castle on Loch Ness. The grounds are gated off and an ugly high fence, but I think I got a nice shot through it. I also found a better view that would help me get the shot in my last video.
So first stop on the Isle of Skye, busy spot as one would expect. I'm not even going to pronounce this bridge. I'll just fire it up, and then you got the mountain in the back that's covered by cloud. Nice scene. And then I've shot vertical, horizontal, mostly from this spot. I'm not going to play around too much. I kind of wanted to get a shot from below of the mountains through the arch, but there's a lot of water there. I don't want to get a soaker. There's a lot of people around, that kind of thing. But I got vertical, horizontal shot. I got shots with a 10-stop ND filter at about 10 seconds. There's not that much, but just to smooth out those if I decide to go that route. But neat little spot. On to, I think, Dairy Pools are next.
At the end of the trip we passed back through here, light was fading, there wasn't a soul here. A shot from the road would have been nice, or even with the drone. I had no camera battery juice left though. This was the first set of pools, which had a nice fall just before them. They were smaller than I envisioned, and it was also a challenging shoot as I was shooting directly into the sun. I needed to wait for the sun to go behind the clouds for my shots. Near the top was the second pool, which was a bit higher, and your classic ferry pool shot. The sun was out when I got there, so these guys dipped in the water while I waited for the sun to go behind the clouds. There's a lot of people doing this throughout the hike. After leaving the ferry pools behind, it was off to hike Old Man of Storr. We passed through Portree, which is where you would stay if you were spending the night on the Isle of Skye. Traffic was very, very slow. Stopped, if you will. Turned out it was the mail delivery stopping in the road at every house. With the narrow roads, nobody could get by.
Push to the summit. Wasn't really going to try it initially because it was super windy, but made the hike up. It's not an easy one. It's 1,000 feet, but epic views, epic conditions.
I'm really happy with how those images turned out. Moody, dramatic, but still enough light to bring everything to life. It was insanely windy up there though. On the way down, there were a few people posing on a rock, and from my angle, the alignment actually made for a great view. I sent the wife ahead and she waited her turn to climb up. I was trying to guide her to the center of the gap, but she was convinced I was directing her straight to the edge of her doom. After some hand signal communications, we eventually got her perfectly positioned in the middle of the opening for some nice images. The hike is 1.7 kilometers each way and about a 1,000 foot elevation gain. We managed the round trip in just under 2 hours, and that's with all the photo stops. After that, it was off to Neist Point Lighthouse. On the way, there was a cafe that had a petting area with Highland Cows. Getting a good Highland Cow photo was on my list for the trip. It took some patience to wait for the right one to wander into a position and actually pose, but I think I nailed a really nice shot in the end. It definitely took more attempts than I'd like to admit, but totally worth it.
These pants taste good.
spot on Isle of Skye for today. Almost drained my 2 batteries on the Isle of Skye, which wasn't a shocker. But we got the lighthouse here, nice cliffs. The drone flying overhead, so obviously someone's not following the rules, but just a bunch of whole whack of longer exposures in the 50 to 2-minute area. And then just to smooth out that water, and then a bunch of vertical, a bunch of horizontal, and I kind of went along the cliff here, shooting a bunch of different points. And I did, in one of the images, get 2 people that were boop, right at the top there. So that was nice. But now it's 3.5 hours back to the hotel. And then that should be fun. And there's a lot of those half a road things out here. I don't know why they don't build the whole road. So they're super narrow one way, and then this whole whack of pullouts. But hopefully it's not too busy going back.
After another long day on the road, we returned to the hotel only to find ourselves locked out of our room. Thankfully, someone eventually came to rescue us and we got back in. Up next in my Scotland series is the Harry Potter related spots we visited throughout the trip. And my favorite, the iconic Glenfinnan Viaduct, so stay tuned for that.